And this is our final project with the Amalia jacket. I am making a matching petticoat out of some black silk. This was super easy to work up. I think I finished it in like a day and a half, on it all day long. This started out as a stash buster, just to try and get things out of my stash and made into actual garments. I ended up actually having to buy more fabric to match the fabric I already had. I didn't have enough of the black silk to make a petticoat out of, so I went ahead and did that. I think I bought them from Silk Baron, but I think a simple black petticoat will go with more garments that I will be making in the future. So in the end, it's somewhat an investment. So there's not incredibly a lot to say about this, so I guess we'll just jump right into the voiceover. I got a sun catcher the other day, and oh my god. Wait, just look at that. It's making my mess look so aesthetic. So the Amalia jacket is super easy to do, and I really enjoy the construction that they chose to use, or must be common for 18th century jackets. What you see I'm doing here is making the lining shell, and basically you just put the lining together. That seems to take up most of the stress of the garment, and then you put the fashion fabric or whatever would go on top over the lining fabric and attach it directly to it. So it's not lined in the traditional sense, but it does end up covering all the raw edges and making it nice. You'll see me wear a lot of sweaters in this video. This was actually during the big snowstorm we had here in North Texas, or maybe just in Texas in general. So I was very cold, but this kept me busy, and the few times that we had power, I printed off the Amalia jacket and got to work. I actually picked up this fabric from a place in LA. I think it's like Home... Oh, I don't remember it now, but it's a big interior design store. And so they have a lot of textiles for couches and curtains and that sort of thing, and this was actually one of their 60-inch silks. It's pretty heavy. It's actually much more heavier than a regular silk taffeta, but it's really nice, and I do like the way it drapes, even though it is significantly weightier. It's thicker. And you'll see when the taffeta from Silk Baron, the black one, comes up, much lighter and tends to float more, while this one is just pure heavy. It was probably meant for something like a drapery or something like that, where it needed that weight to it. Now you see me here doing up the very back seam. What you do with this, and I'm not doing an official tutorial, but basically you just start at the back seam, you do that up in a back stitch, then you put it onto the lining and slowly work your way out towards the front, adding pieces as you go. I really love the construction and the details on this particular jacket. I will definitely be replicating them in the future. There was a lot of hand basting involved, a lot of making sure everything was down nice and even. The fabric wasn't super slippery, but it did tend to like squiggle around if I didn't like baste it down or pin it down pretty well. Here I'm doing a mantua maker seam, so I have to baste it down before. I trimmed down one of the sides, like as if I was doing a felled seam, and then I, instead of folding it all the way down, I folded it just so it stuck up more like a French seam, and then I whipped through all, I think that's like 4 layers of fabric. So I'm both finishing the edge and I'm finishing the seam at the same time. It is a miracle stitch. I love this finish. But I did that for all the skirt pieces because it looks beautiful both from the outside and from the inside if it ever shows. But the downside is with it, it doesn't want to, at least that I've understood, it doesn't like to hold a lot of weight, so it's good for like skirts and things that aren't going to be under a ton of stress. And here you see me putting on each panel. This is just done with the prick stitch that goes all the way through the lining, attaching the fashion fabric to the lining, and it is causing it to act as one. I really enjoy making 18th century garments, particularly ones like this jacket. It just has a very intuitive construction to it, I guess.
got some kind of spell on you, and I've got more than enough of witches and spells. So just go find some field and stand in it.
I'm not trying to outwit you. I kept my oath. I reported when summoned. Now Mother and I will go.
I'm afraid not. Things are like squishy and round and soft. I cannot draw circles through them.
Maybe those things are
definitely recommend using this pattern. It worked out super quickly and very well. I mean, this was the fastest I've ever finished a project before because of how little fitting I had to do. I definitely recommend it for beginner stitchers just because they hold your hand through the entire thing. There's basically nothing you don't know about it at the end. The hardest part is figuring out what fabrics to choose and if you're going to trim it and how. But yeah, Scoop Patterns, wonderful pattern company, highly recommend, especially with their collaboration with Virgil Fine Goods. It is amazing. I have a whole bunch of black organza I could throw on it, but I'm not sure if that's overdoing it. Leave a comment and let me know what you think. Should I trim it more or should I just leave it as is? I'm really torn. It's gorgeous as it is, but man, some black organza ruffles or some pleats, that might be the move. Anyways, I will leave you here and I will see you next week with the petticoat.